After class, today we're looking at cycle test 3. You guys have got your scripts back. Whatever you're doing, just stop it and do something different. Okay, because our marks doesn't reflect what we're expecting from you. Okay. So that's what I expected you to have written. Alright. So we are given f of x is equal to a over x plus p plus q. That's the one graph. Whilst g of x is equal to bx plus c. The asymptotes of f are at x equal to minus 3, which is the one value, the vertical asymptote, and y is equal to 1 is the horizontal asymptote. F and g intersect at A and B, which is negative, B is negative, no, A and B. C is negative 2 and 6, is a point on F, and D is a point on G. The asymptote of F also intersect at D, D, D. P and Q are points on G and F respectively such that P, Q, R is parallel to your y-axis. Okay, it's parallel to your y-axis. Right. That's the first question. First question says, write down the value of P and Q. Now, as you can see, P and Q is horizontal and vertical asymptote. So Q is going to be y is equal to 1. Okay, your horizontal asymptote. And your vertical asymptote is that x is equal to minus 3. So, therefore, P is equal to 3. Okay. So, in your mind's eye, just always check on your hyperbola graph. Okay. So, in other words, the hyperbola graph now reads a over x. Whoops. A over x plus 3 plus 1. So we check. Is the horizontal asymptote y is equal to 1? Yes. Is the vertical asymptote x equal to minus 3? Okay. So one on each thing. Please check if they mismarked. Okay, hopefully you guys can get the extra marks here if we have mismarked. In 1.2 ends show that a is equal to minus 5. Actually, a is equal to 5. So my equation now reads f of x is equal to a over x plus 3 minus or plus 1. So in order to calculate a, I must substitute a point that's lying on this hyperbola graph, which is c. That's the only point that I know of that we can calculate or use in order to calculate a. So I'm going to substitute c, which is negative 2 and 6. Remembering that's an x and a y. So 6 is equal to a over negative 2 plus 3 plus 1. So that is a over 1, which is a. So a is equal to 5. And there we have proven what they wanted us to have proven. So my equation now reads f of x is equal to 5 over x plus 3 plus 1. Please stop me if there's something that is asked that I haven't told you. Okay? So that's the first question. We did both now. We got A and we got P and Q. Let's look at 1.3. Determine the coordinates of A. Where is A? Here. People, what is A? A is your x-intercept. Not so. Can I calculate the x-intercept of g of x? No. No. Why? Because we don't have the equation of g of x. we can only use f of x. So 1.3. X-intercept. What do you do for x-intercept? Let y equal to 0. So 0 is equal to, this is now for f of x, no? 5 over x plus 3 plus 1. They get over the equal sign. So negative 1 is equal to 5 over x plus 3. We cross multiply. So negative x minus 3 is equal to 5. So x is equal to negative. Okay. Ever answer the question? No. Therefore, A is negative 8 and 0. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Show that the equation of g is given by y is equal to 1 over 5, x plus 8 over 5. Now, to calculate the equation of the straight line, I need at least 2 points where this line is going to be. I have A, and I can determine D. So A is negative 8 and 0, whilst D is negative 3 and 1. Is where your asymptotes meet. Okay. So it's going to be negative 3 and 1. So that's simply going to give you the gradient of AD is 1 minus 0 over negative 3 plus 8. So it's 1 over 5. So we have y is equal to 1 over 5x plus c. So in order to calculate c, I must substitute the pointers lying on this graph. Either D or A. I'm going to go with D. So it's going to be negative 3 and 1. That's an x and a y. So 1 is equal to 1 over 5 times negative 3 plus c. So c is going to be 1 minus 1 over 5 times negative 3. Gives you 8 over 5. Therefore, y is equal to 1 over 5x plus 8 over 5. And we have proven that. Remember, in the show that to prove that question, I can't use that in my calculation. I must end off with that. Okay. Just take a calculator away there quickly. Okay. So now the g of x is defined by that. Okay. So it's 1 over 5 x plus 8 over 5. Okay, so another question. Another 2. Calculate the coordinates of B. Calculate the coordinates of B. People, what is B? B is your point of intersection of the two graphs, not so? B is the point of intersection. How do we work out points of intersection? Set the graphs equal to each other. So f of x is equal to g of x. So it's going to be 5 over x plus 3 plus 1 is equal to 1 over 5x plus 8 over 5. What's my LCM? LCM. 5 into x plus 3. So this must be multiplied, the first fraction must be multiplied by 5. This must be multiplied by the whole 5 into x plus 3. This must be multiplied by x plus 3. This must be multiplied by x plus 3. Okay. Then we get behind the calculator there. So let's go. Get rid of the brackets, so it's going to be 25 plus 5x plus 15 equals x squared plus 3x plus 8x plus 24. We say 0 is equal to x squared. The 8 plus 3 is 11. So 11x minus 5x. What's 11 minus 5? It's positive 6x. 24 minus 25 is negative 1. Negative 1 minus 15 is negative 16. That works out to be one of two values. X and an 8, the x and a 2. The 8 must be positive, or else that is negative. So x equal to negative 8 or x equal to 2. Why do you have two solutions? Because there are 2 points of intersection. We look at this graph of G. It's intersecting F at A and at B. And what do you notice about A? What's the coordinates of A? Negative 8 and 0. Hence, negative 8. You see that? Just check if that door is open, please, before that person break down the door. Sorry? The door in the passage. Just open it for whoever is there. Huh? They're fixing the door. They're break the door, man. Okay. So, what is the x value of b? 2. Can you see that, people? So what do I do with that? I substitute 2 either into the exponential graph or the straight line. Okay? Sorry that I have to take this off all the time, but I want to keep the diagram in focus. So I'm going to say g of 2 equals 1 over 5 times 2 plus 8 over 5, which is 10 over 5, which is 2. If I'd gone with if of 2 is going to be 5 over 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, so 5 over 5 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. I would have gotten 2 anyway. Okay? Any one of the two should have gotten you the mark. So B is 2 and 2. Calculate the length correct to one decimal place of PQ. Okay? So let's go. The length of PQ is 1.6 PQ. So how do we calculate the length of PQ? It's the distance between two graphs, not so. So it's going to be the top graph minus the bottom graph. So it's g of x minus f of x. So g of x is going to be 1 over 5x plus 8 over 5 minus f of x, which is 5 over x plus 3 plus 1. Now you can simplify if you want and whatever, but I don't want to go into algebraic fractions again. It's not going to get me any extra marks here. Okay? But if I had simplified this, this would have been the algebraic expression for the length PQ. Okay? The rest of the question says find the length, correct one decimal place in PQ of PQ if OR is 10. So what's your x value here? 10. So we're going to substitute x is equal to 10. So PQ is equal to 1 over 5 times 10 plus 8 over 5 minus 5 into 10 plus 3 plus 1. Okay. So let's put the calculator back. You can see what I'm typing in here. That will be 1 over 5 times 10 plus 8 over 5 minus, open brackets, 5 over 10 plus 3 plus 1. Gives us 144 over 65. But I want it in 1 to 1 decimal place. So it's 2.2. 2.2 units. The question paper and memo can be found in the description box below. Okay. 2.2 units. Did you get 2.2? Sorry? You wrote 2.3, but you did exactly that calculation. Okay. Okay, that's 1.6. 1.7 and 1.8. Now we are told, write down the domain of f. People, what is the domain? All possible x values of f. What is f? The hyperbola graph. As you can see, this graph is going to negative infinity and positive infinity. Can you see that? So what does that mean? What's the domain? All values of x, not so. So x is an element of all real numbers. However, x is just not equal to negative 3. So the graph doesn't exist on that asymptote. Okay. 1.8. For which values of x is f of x less than g of x? Always the g of x graph on top of the f of x graph. Okay. So here we can see it's g on top or at the bottom here. It's at the bottom, and I'm not interested in that. Not so. They want the g of x must be on top or greater than. Here the g of x graph is greater from negative 8 to negative 3. Okay? And then the g of x graph is again below, which I'm not interested in. Okay? Even on the other side of b, it's above. Okay? So in other words, x has to be greater than negative 8 but less than negative 3. Or x must be greater than 2. Okay? X must be greater than 2. Alright. There's 21 marks, people. No? Already 40%. Supposed to have been in the bank. Alright. People, question 2. Given the function, sorry, y is equal to 2 sine x minus 60 minus 3, write down the amplitude. So we know the amplitude is the positive part of, or the absolute value of a, so the amplitude is 2. The period of this function, the basic sine graph period is 360. There's no number in front of x other than 1. So the period is going to be 360. The coordinates of one of the turning points. So if I look at this graph, the sine graph, for the 2 sine x minus 60, so it's going to move 60 units forward. So that is the sine graph. If I'm looking at 2 sine x, that is that graph, okay? Where that is 90. Not so. If I move negative 60, so it's going to go 60 units to the right. So that becomes now this point here of 150. So that is 150 and 2. Then minus 3 is going to shift this graph 3 units down, which means to say that's also going to go 3 units down. So the one point I'm going to use is 150 and minus 1. Because 3 units down is going to give you minus 1. That's it. Okay. Let's look at 2.2. 2.2, we have more than one graph on a external axis. The graph of f of x is equal to a sine bx, and g of x is equal to p cos x minus q, are sketched below. Okay. So the question says, write down the value of a, b, p, and q. So if we're looking at the a value, the a belongs to the sine graph. As you can see, it's this graph here, the f of x graph. The maximum value is 2. Okay, and the graph is first going down, then up. So it's positive. So A is going to be positive 2. That's one way of looking at it. Otherwise, we take the top value minus the bottom value, which is 2 minus minus 2 divided by 2, gives us 4 over 2, which is 2. That's all you are. We calculate here. Okay. Let's look at B. B affects the period of the graph. The basic sine graph normally completes itself into 360 degrees. Yeah, only half of the graph is in 360. This point is normally at 180. So B is going to be 180 divided by 360, which is okay. Let's look at P. P belongs to the geometric graph. P also tells us about the asymptote, not the asymptote, the amplitude of the graph. Okay. So we're looking at the cos graph. This is what the basic cos graph looks like. Okay, you see it? See the evidence here of the cos graph? Yep, see? Not so. So this graph actually moved forward by how many degrees? By 45 degrees. Okay, all agree with that? So your Q value is going to be 45. And your P, of course, is also going to be 2. Okay. So then you get both values should be the same. Let's go to the next question. 2.2.2. Determine the coordinates of A and B, 2 of the points of intersection. How do you work out points of intersection? How do you work out the points of intersection? The question paper and memo can be found in the description box below. Okay. The points of intersection, we see the two graphs equal to each other. Okay. So the one graph being f of x is equal to 2 sine of x, and g of x is equal to p cos x minus q. I got p and q, sorry, which is 2 cos x minus 45. Okay. You see the two graphs equal to each other? It's going to be 2 sine of x equals 2 cos x minus 45. You divide by 2 both sides, so sine of x is equal to sine 90 minus x minus 45. Why? Because I would like to drop the signs. So you say reference of x equals, it will be minus x plus 135 is your reference angle. Okay? Could you see that is 90 degrees here? Could you have seen that's 90 and negative 90? You just see the graph. Because I can't see that they're giving you so much work for only 3 marks. Okay, so my diagram is not clear on the board. Yes, it is negative 90 and 90. That's why I thought they wouldn't. But if you had gone and solved the general solution here, you could have got the 90 and minus 90. Okay. But as I said, this would be at least 6 marks. Okay. So 2.2.2, as you can see, it's 90. So the B is going to be 90 and some y value. And then the A is going to be minus 90 and some y value. How do you get a corresponding value? You sub it into the calculator. You can say 2 sine a half times 90 gives us root 2. And then the A, of course, I think is going to be negative root 2. Yeah. Okay. So A is negative 90 and negative root 2. And B is going to be 90 and root 2. Okay. Two point 2.3, calculate the distance between F and G where x is equal to 225. Two point 2.3. The distance between F and G where x is 225. So 225 is here. That's so. So which graph is on top? G of x is on top. You all agree with that? So the distance is going to be g of x minus f of x. Or we can just simply say g of 225 minus f of 225. So g is going to be 2 cos 225 minus 45 minus f of x, which is 2 sine a half times 225. So it's 2 cos 225 minus 45 minus 2 sine of times 225. Negative? No, that's not right. You sure the cos graph is on top? No, not the sine graph is on top. Not so. Because it's this graph, which is the sine graph. It's actually the other way around. Okay? Take the absolute value of that, it's going to give you 3,84. It's actually the other way around. Okay? Why is it negative? Because you're actually taking the bottom graph minus the top graph. That's why it's negative. You see that, people? It's actually is the sine graph minus the cos graph. Alright. Look at the next one. Given the function the cos of x and 3 tan x. Sketch a function on the set of axes provided in your answer book. Okay. So let's see what. So they got from 0 to 360. So it means 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. Okay. So for the tan graph, 3 tan x. So you're going to get 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, 360. Okay, so we know that the tan graph has asymptotes at 90. So x equal to 90 and at 270. We know when we drew the tan graph, we went with steps of 45 degrees. Okay, just take this over here. We went steps of 45. So tan of 0 is 0, tan of 45 is 3. So that's 45 and 3, at least one turning point on the graph. Okay, 180 is 0. I think 135 is minus 3. 135 and minus 3. This you can do with a calculator. Eh? And then is 225 and 3. In line with that thing? Is 225. Graph does that. Comes close to asymptote. Same story here. The graph does that. This is the graph of g of x. Okay. So let's look at the f of x graph. The basic cost graph starts on top and does that. Normally 360. But there's a half thing. So it's 360 divided by half is 720. So 360 is here now. That is now 720. So only this part of the graph is drawn. Remember, half of 360 is 180. So the graph is going through there. The 180 mark. This coefficient is 1. So it's going to go through 1. It's going to go through there. Cut. And that's going to be your minimum point of 360 and minus 1. Okay, so the graph is going to do that. Okay. And then I think that was the easiest question in the paper. Okay. Because we did a lot of drawing. Oh, I did a lot of drawing of graphs. Okay. People, let's carry on. Question 3. Determine the general solution. 3.1, the general solution. So firstly, we're going to take the 1 over, becomes 3 cos 2x minus 5 is equal to 3, divided by 3, cos of 2x minus 5 is equal to 1, or cos of 1. Remember, when it's 1 minus 1 is 0, we take it to the graph. The cos graph starts on top and does that. For 1, it's going to be 0 or 360. 0 and 360 is a repeated solution, so I just write it once. So 2x minus 5 is equal to 0, as x is 0. Okay? So we got 2x minus 5 is equal to 0 plus k times. That solution will repeat itself every 360 degrees. Right? You take the 5 over, 2x is equal to 5 plus k times 360. Divided by 2x is going to be 2.5 plus k times 180. Where k is an element of integers. Okay. Let's look at the next question. Hence, solve for x if x is an element of negative 270 and 180. So where do we start? We start with k being 0. So we say x is an element of, and we start listing. If k is 0, we got 2.5, which is within that given domain. We let k equal to 1, and 2.5 plus 1 times 180 will give you 182.5, which is outside the given domain. So now we go with minus 1. If 1 doesn't work, 2 won't work. So 2.5 minus 180, or you can say it's going to be 2.5 plus negative 1 times 180, I get negative 177.5. Negative 177.5. Is that inside or outside the given domain? Is it inside? Yes. It's going to give you negative 177.5 degrees. As you can see, it's within. But if I'm going to go with minus 2, which means to say I'm subtracting another 180, it's going to give you negative 357.5, which is outside the given domain. You guys understand? So then that means to say we must stop here, and you'll get your 3 marks for that. Okay. And the last question, the bonus question here. This was actually your general solution question. That's it, okay? That's a bit harsh. But I'll put it as the bonus question. This is solve for theta. if 3 square root cos theta equals 2, where theta is an element of 0 to 360. So what you needed to do first is divide by 2. So you got, sorry, by 3. So you got the square root of cos theta is equal to 2 over 3. So we square both sides. So cos theta is going to be 4 over 9. Not so. So now we're going to work out our reference angle. So our cos of 4 over 9 gives us 63,61. 63,61 degrees. Okay. So the question, you can see that is from 0 to 360, which means to say, you can go general solution here if you like. But from 0 to 360 will give me all my solutions here. Okay? So the question you ask yourself, in which quadrant is cos positive? Which quadrant is cos positive? Quadrant 1 and 4. So in quadrant 1, it's going to be, or you can say theta is an element of, in quadrant 1, 63,61 degrees. In quadrant 4, it's going to be 360 minus that angle. So 360 minus that angle is going to give you 296. 296, 39. Okay. According to the memo, theta is only 63,61. It's supposed to have been the solution here as well. No? Because if you look at the restricted domain, it's from 0 to 360. So that should have been a solution as well. But because it's 2 marks, I think she gave you 1 mark. You got this here out, and 1 mark. You got that out. Okay. People, that is what I expected you to have written for this test. Is there anything I didn't teach you here? Huh? I told you nothing yet. Told you everything else. But okay. You win some, you lose some. No? Instead, the question paper and memo can be found in the description box below.